I sit in the west and look toward the north. And I want to record these brief observations about the beauty of the process of the ceremony and circle that I'm still digesting. It's my third day back. I tried to start my day in the mind with a plan because I feel a lot of eagerness and energy toward what in this model is the north, the direction of order and work and contribution in the world. So I'm feeling a lot of eagerness, but that gets my mind going. And what I realized after a couple of hours this morning, letting my mind run the show is wild mind. And so now I know that a reliable practice for dealing with wild mind is to get on my feet and preferably go out to some open land and walk with a clarifying question. I won't share right now what the clarifying question of this walk was, but I will share this observation about the process that I find so beautiful because I've now been studying things in the realm of experiential learning, which I'm just distinguishing from text-based, like reading learning. Experiential learning often happens in a circle, is more about equal relationship in the circle and having perhaps guided or prompted experiences in your own body that then come back and contribute to the group transforming in some way. And I've explored that in the realm of body work training, sound healing and music improvisation, mixed media, art making, art journaling type of practices, and then various types of communication practices, drama therapy, playback theater, psychodrama. Not sure why I'm choosing to make this laundry list right now. But the reason I say it is that I've attended a lot of trainings in circle. My first was in 2009, so that's been 17 years. And then I had about 17 years of academic. I need to add on, 12 plus 8, 20 plus 2, 22 years, 22 to 17. So it's getting closer, but I still have more years of academic, sit in a chair, read the book, listen to the teacher, do the homework, get graded, and you pass when they say you pass kind of learning. And experiential learning is, we've made up systems now where you can get pieces of paper that say you're certified in these different kinds of experiential learning. But the real truth about experiential learning is you decide for yourself when you've learned something or when you're ready to teach it. And, that means we don't always agree. We don't have the same experience of each other. We do have to rely on some sort of inner authority, and we have to trust that there's some kind of integrity among the people who are practicing and sharing and learning this together. So unlike in a classroom where you might be able to hide and then cram for the test and get whatever grade, which I've seen in plenty of classrooms, in a circle you are seen. There's typically processes where everyone gets a voice, an uninterrupted period of time that's defined based on the size of the group and the time constraints. And you are seen. And that's part of the learning and the growth and the healing and the formation of the group as it gets to know itself as an organism. So as I say it, I realize that my interest in group process and experiential learning go together. They're very intertwined. And what is really, really exciting to me about this land-based ceremony, I think my phone might be overheating. So if this stops, we know why. What was amazing about the process was there was solo time built into the group process. So we gathered in circle and had very potent ceremony together. And it was known that every day we continued the process by going in to our own individual experience of something. And there was just an invitation of that. And that we would come back with stories of the solo time as a gift back to the group. I love that concept, and that has not been part of any of my trainings explicitly. There's always been a time when I've had multi-day trainings where we check in about how things were going, but it was always sort of implied that what happened to you at home outside as soon as you left the door, or how it was getting home, was separate from the circle process. And this, because it was fully immersive, every experience that we were individually having during the 5 days was grist for the mill, material for the group, because we were inviting that story to come in as gift to others, and we were going to mirror that. So we had to, as group members, really witness, take it in, and give it back to the person, showing what the gift was that we received. And that full circle, kind of double spiral infinity circle, is something I'm really sitting with as something that was important. And something I value, because I value my alone time. And, I've also been somehow part of groups, networks, messages that have told me in different ways that that was not okay, and that I had to sort of hide and steal away those moments of alone time. And now I'm fully stepping into loving my alone time as nourishment for the gifts I bring when I do gather with my circles. And I know now that I bring gifts to every circle that I show up in. But what I didn't trust as much earlier in my life was the necessity of having my alone time, doing the things that I know to do for my body, my wild mind, my fiery spirit, my deep watery soul, my creativity, my child who needs a lot of attention and reassurance and nurturing and freedom. And all those things are so important. They take time, they take attention, they take focus. That's what I was able to do really well during those 5 days because I wasn't on my phone. Hello. And watching images of other people. And it's amazing to watch how just 1 or 2 days of having my phone and just scrolling for what seems like a short period of time immediately scatters my attention, because every second I'm seeing some other corner of the infinite possibilities of the universe, and I'm being told things, and I'm becoming aware of things that pull me in different ways. And just to acknowledge that that does take energy. It takes it from us and it puts it somewhere else. So we have to find ways to reel it back in and take it in. And that's what I've been doing. I've been walking now for an hour. It feels like a relatively cool day. It's like mid-80s, but we've had such a hot summer here that has not cooled down as promised, that something in the 80s just feels like a real gift. And I know I was saying that 2 months ago on these hikes in this same land. It hasn't gotten much better. So I arrived at this overlook, and I'm able to look north at the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and to feel a moment of clarity in my mind feels good. And I'm just starting to imagine and play with possibilities for group process. And it reminds me of something a friend and I were talking about, because I would love to host destination retreats. I don't know what these destinations would be for me, but like a place. So place-based retreats where we're in conversation with the place, somehow in group. Originally, I thought it would be kind of an art, journaling, creativity, and that kind of transformation-based retreat. I don't know exactly what it would be right now, but my friend and I were talking about how, we like to travel solo. We like to explore a place on our own. It's part of what feeds our child that probably didn't get that chance as much as she wanted to at the time. Wanted to live more like that, wanted to be just on her own timeline. And that's an important part of travel and what motivates us to want to travel. So these ideas of having like a 7-day fully scheduled retreat with the whole group just don't appeal to me. I don't want to lead them, and I don't want to be on them as participants. But this idea of like, let's all have a container where we're doing travel, we're having our adventures, and we're bringing the stories back. And wouldn't it be amazing? Like, let's just pick a destination, Paris, which actually an artist that I know offered these kinds of retreats, where you come to Paris, you get your own accommodation, so you choose how you want to live, and there are gathering points during the day at certain times. They spend the morning together, sharing some food, sharing some art making, and sharing stories through art journaling. And then the afternoon is completely free, and then there's maybe an optional dinner get together for people. But if you don't want to come, they don't come looking for you. You can go to sleep without dinner. You can go to have dinner on your own, or you can have a dinner with some other people in the group. And then you come back together again the next day and tell the story of your experience. And imagine the collage of stories that comes together that morning when each of us has had a different experience of the same place, and what we found with our own eyes and our own feet, mapping that place from our own direction, inner direction, and how that would change day to day, and how we would nourish each other. And now with this experience I've had, how we might mirror each other to give each other the gift of being heard in a group, and then use that nourishment to go out alone again. Now, obviously in a place like Paris, it's not a wilderness land-based practice, but it's a place. And underneath all the concrete and metal and stuff that's been put on top of the land in any place is still the land. And somehow it pulsates through the cracks and pores in the material that's been constructed on top of it, and it comes out in all the cultural expressions of the place. And we can still be in conversation with ourselves and the place, and to receive gifts from the place. And so then I'm really curious how that would shift the experience as a traveler from consumer. What shops did you find? What, museums did you go to? But like, just if you were just to wander the streets with a question for this place, the land underneath the place, or the place itself, however you think about it, and to share the stories of what comes back. Maybe I just designed my next retreat, but I'm not ready to go to a city yet. I think I mentioned in previous videos that I'm really focused on how to make van life happen for me next. And I think van life will still allow me to, get on a plane and go international when I want to. But really, what I want to experience on this land, the United States of America currently, is van life. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about it. There's a lot of unknowns, and then that brings up those sort of familiar questions about fear and everything. But it's there. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when, and that's what I'm sitting with right now. So that's it for now.